10 minutes. 10 minutes to our next match on Stadium Court. Out on court number 1, we are in set 3. Julia Stoll and Gina Urendo won the second set 23-21. They lead 9-6. Halfway through set number 3. Winner of that match to take on Betsy Flint and Kelly Chang in the semifinals.
Really helpful. John Mayer's not out here helping. He's a tiny wingspan. It's T-Rex. There he is. Hi, John. Just talking about you a second ago. Hopefully you heard me in front of you. Just doing the anthem mic sound check, so if my voice sounds weird, it's actually my normal voice. Sorry, not sorry that Tyler Hildebrand and I have the same sunglasses on. I don't want to call them gold medal Tokyo Olympic sunglasses, but that's what they are. Very aerodynamic. This feels right on my face. And now good time.
Got it.
Lee.
I think it's behind R1.
Welcome to Hermosa Beach. Another gorgeous morning, it's a very comfortable morning, isn't it? Oh my gosh, the stands are full at like 10, 11 a.m. Good morning, everybody. We've got our coffee, we've got our water, we've got stuff in koozies. We're not going to talk about that. You know what? It's time to meet our teams of our final round of the contenders bracket. These gentlemen looking to make it to the semi-finals. This first guy, he is a Matador. Go Matadors, out of Cal State University, Northridge. Let me hear it loud and proud for Mr. Billy Allen. Hi, buddy. Go Matadors. And his partner, one of the many, many people on the sands of Hermosa Beach playing this weekend from good old UCLA. An absolute firecracker from the service line. Let me hear it for the Lorax, Jeremy Casebeer. Oh, and this first guy. You know what? If there's one thing people know about Phil, it's where you went to college. So we're just going to stick with that. The Golden Knight out of the University of Central Florida. What a stud. Ladies and gentlemen, the big fella, it's Phil Dalhausser. Look at this Cougar. Yeah, baller. The Cougar out of Brigham Young University. Your hair, you know, my wife Kim saw you earlier and she was like, "Is that Casey? Look at that hair. That is sweet right now." Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it for Casey Patterson. Looking good.
Welcome to Hermosa Beach, California. Day number 3, Championship Sunday, and we have an excellent match set up here for you. I'm Dane Blanton alongside Rich Lamborn, and excited to see this one. The first meeting between these two teams should be a battle. Both of them have one loss, so you lose this, you're eliminated. You win this, you move on to the semifinals. Keys to the match, Rich.
Well, obviously, Phil is going to impose his will, but this right here, the serve of Jeremy Casebeer, is going to be a big factor in right on cue. How about that? The Lorax coming through.
Yeah, when Jeremy Casebeer's serve is on point, it's good for 5-6 points when he's turning it up, when he's feeling confident. And how important is it for him on that first serve, getting an ace in terms of him rolling that into the rest of this match?
Well, yeah, you certainly like it to go that way early if you're Allen and Casebeer. You know, we talk a lot about getting teams out of system, and that's going to be a big factor against two big guys with a ton of experience in Casey Patterson and Phil Dalhausser.
Event number 3 on the AVP Pro Series of this 2022 season. The first 2 events were won by Big Phil Dalhausser. First in Austin with Andy Benish, and then a few weeks ago in New Orleans with his current partner, Casey Patterson. Both Casey and Phil, 42 years of age, but playing some of the best volleyball that we have seen them play at times. What do you think of their chances here today, Rich?
Well, anytime Phil's involved, you got to like his chances, right? I mean, they played some wonderful volleyball in New Orleans, as you mentioned, taking the title home there. I'm not sure I'm loving this Phil Dalhausser humanitarian tour where he's just picking up wins with everybody he plays with, but there's certainly something to be reckoned with, I should say.
Well, if you haven't followed beach volleyball, Phil Dalhausser actually announced his official retirement at the end of the 21 season, decided to come out of retirement, so it wasn't very long retirement. We've seen that before with many athletes in many sports, and then goes on to win the first 2 events of the year, trying to make it 3-4-3. And as you said, Rich, Phil, if he's in the conversation, he's usually in the semifinals. Get this, 147 AVP events he's competed in. 104 times has he made it to the semifinals, and that is 71% of the time. So expect him to move on.
Yeah, that's astounding. Astounding numbers, and that's how you put together an all-time career.
Switching sides, Billy Allen, Jeremy Casebeer. Billy Allen, 2 AVP victories to his name. Jeremy Casebeer has 1. A solid team with Casebeer full-time blocking and Billy Allen, spectacular defender in the backcourt.
Yeah, so one question mark here for Dalhausser and Patterson. They got that victory together in New Orleans, but they live on different coasts. Phil's obviously out in Florida, Casey out here in California, so they don't get to train together at all. They just kind of come to the tournament, put it together, and you know, they kind of speak the common tongue of beach volleyball, but there can be some rust when that's the case, and Casebeer and Allen, obviously a team that trains together and has kind of some more reps under their belt as a unit.
Yeah, you think when you get to be 42 years of age, you've put in so much time. You're an expert at your craft. I think for these two, less training, and I believe Casey's been doing less training. He, you know, admittedly himself, he's playing a lot more pickleball, cross training, than volleyball. So I think it's important to keep the interest level. And I think maybe when they get together, like you said, not practicing, but then they get together in competitions, that sparks energy and a little more fire.
Right.
Just a theory.
Yeah, no, I like that theory, though, because when you have so many years of playing so diligently and kind of training so meticulously under your belt, that obviously gives you that kind of reserve of volleyball knowledge, and then that time away can be refresher mentally, right?
Yeah, I remember playing with partners for a long time, and the training got old.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just wanted to train on your own or train with other partners to spark that I guess that newness on the weekends.
You're suggesting a beach volleyball hall pass from your partner.
Early here in set number 1, men's division center court here in Hermosa Beach. Billy Allen, Jeremy Casebeer up 6-5 over Phil Dalhausser and Casey Patterson. Winner moves on to the semifinals. Oh, double block. Don't see that very often.
Every now and then you see it. We saw a great one from Try and Trevor last year that actually was successful.
I saw Try and Trevor pull one in, I think, a World Championships in Hamburg years ago. And the offensive player had no clue that both blockers were at the net. As you know, with both blockers at the net, there's no other players on the court. You can just hit it deep, but it's pretty funny. Great vision by Patterson.
Yeah, some of the best vision, I think, in the history of the sport. Just such a pure arm swing. Casey's so long, standing reach of 8'9". And then when he's getting that buttery gold from Phil Dalhausser, he's very difficult to contend with in his side-out game. Just a terminal player in transition, Casey Patterson.
8-6, Phil and Casey. Let's take a look at the bracket. On the men's side, there you see Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander in the semifinal already, the number 5 seed waiting, as well as Paul Lottman and Miles Partain, the number 7 seed. So 2 semifinal spots taken up. And these two teams right here trying to advance as well.
A nice little play there in recovery from Allen and Casebeer. A little bit of miscommunication, but Jeremy spears it and goes nicely over the top, stopping a 3-point run by Dalhausser Patterson.
Good pass, he'll attack out of the middle, and Jeremy Casebeer all over that one, jumping in. If you're wondering about that final semifinal spot, the match going on concurrently right now, Theo Brunner and Kane Schulk taking on Jake Dietrich and Hagen Smith, the 16 seed that has caused a lot of noise this week. Not only beating the number 1 seed, but also beating number 8, Jeremy Casebeer and Billy Allen, as Jeremy gets yet another block.
Yeah, nice move into the angle here. Let's watch his timing. And a nice little delay and hang. Waits for Casey to kind of show his card, so to speak, and swats that angle shot.
Casey Patterson on the right side and going cross body straight down.
Yeah, Casey, in my opinion, one of the best side-out games in the history of our sport, and you can't stop him for too long. Just has all kinds of tools. We talked about the vision, but he can absolutely bring it as well.
Phil ripping that ball, and how about Casebeer coming in with a nice step close and just unloading.
It's hard to explain the difficulty level of that because it looked so easy and so impressive by Jeremy Casebeer, but that was just fantastic timing.
think that is when Casey Patterson is most dangerous, when not only is he talking to himself, he's very animated, very engaged, and very into it right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's very few quiet moments out on the court if Casey Patterson's out there.
But don't you agree there's times when he's a little more reserved, or there has been, and I think he just plays better when he's talking to the crowd, talking to himself, talking to his partner. You know, the Suave Hawk is working for him.
Yeah, I think there's kind of a fine line there, right? It's the type of dialogue. When it's positive, it's kind of on his side of the net with his partner. It's good.
Well, welcome inside our booth. I'm Dane Bland, joined with Olympic gold medalist in the 2008 Olympics, Rich Lamborn, and it's a pleasure to be with you guys on Championship Sunday. How about this crowd? From the start on Friday, this has been a packed house. There's been a line waiting to get in. They got the big screens out there. If you cannot get into Stadium Court, what do you say about these fans?
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about how this is kind of the mecca of beach volleyball, the sport almost born in the South Bay here. And the fans are just ecstatic to have it back here in their backyard, and so are we. And they've shown that in kind of attendance numbers all weekend.
Yeah, what's so fun, I think, is the knowledge of the fan. When the set is not perfect, they let you know. Whenever anything happens, they're engaged and they're into it.
Right. You love that as a volleyball fan, and then if you're a player and you hear groans when you set a ball, you hate it. But it is indicative of the vast knowledge that exists here in this community.
Good stuff. Crowd fired up. Allen and Casebeer, great start, up 11-10 after the technical timeout. They continue to go to Casey Patterson, and he continues to have success getting that ball to the sand.
Yeah, neck and neck here, as we would expect. High-level quarterfinal action. I guess this is fifth place action.
Yeah, loser of this one gets fifth. Winner will advance. The winner of this one moving on to the semifinals, as we have mentioned. The winner of this one will play Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander. The winner of Theo Brunner versus Kame Schulk and Jake Dietrich. Hagen Smith will face Paul Lottman and Miles Partain. Now, let's talk a little bit about Miles Partain and Paul Lottman, who really gave it to Phil and Casey yesterday, winning in straight sets. I believe Lottman had around 8 or 9 blocks, and the youngster, the 20-year-old Miles Partain, doing some crazy things as Phil Dalhausser rips an ace.
Yeah. Just real quickly on Phil, you know, we talked about the serve of Jeremy Casebeer, but Phil's serve definitely not to be trifled with or underestimated.
Yeah, he's definitely turning it up,
yeah,
for sure. He could have used that yesterday versus Lottman and Partain. I think he's hitting it a little harder. I think a little more sense of urgency. It's hard to tell with Phil because he has such a poker face. But there are times when you can see him turn that dial up a little bit, and that's one of them right there.
Yeah, I mean, we have that expression, Phil doing Phil things, and Sunday Phil, and kind of a host of other things we say about, in my opinion, the greatest player in the history of our sport. But we're seeing a great example of Phil doing it from all over the court. Behind the end line, at the net there, and all of a sudden, they're in a 3-point lead.
Phil's been doing it since early 2000s, winning his first event with Nick Lucena in 2005 that was in Austin, Texas, and they parted ways. He was with Todd Rogers, won an Olympic gold medal same year as you, and take a look at this resume here. 4-time Olympian, 4-time FIVB most outstanding, as well as AVP most valuable. He's just done it all. When you look at that, what comes to mind? Best player to ever play the game is what you said.
I think so, just because in my mind, he had the best serve, he's the best blocker, he's the best setter, and he's the best hitter. I mean, where's the shortage? He showed he can defend as well in Austin this year with Andy Benish playing a little defense. You know, I look at that and see 4-time FIVB most outstanding player and wonder if that isn't a little bit short, like it's one of those Michael Jordan things. Like, do we just keep giving it to Phil every year? They get tired of that?
Yeah.
And he probably deserved even a few more.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And it's great conversation, but Phil is still doing it. We see, I don't think he's skipped a beat or lost a step. He can still compete with the 20-somethings on the FIVB tour. But at 42, it's so fun to watch him compete. And I hope people appreciate it, because when he leaves, he will be missed. I thought he was going to be gone this year, as he had officially retired, but to have him back is just a treat.
It really is, yeah. And we talk about kind of a newfound level of fun. You talked about that sort of mental reprieve that you get from playing with new partners, or being a little less, not less professional, but less sort of meticulous in the day-to-day. And we're seeing kind of what he can do out here, and it's a ton of fun.
Billy Allen and Jeremy Casebeer were up 11-10 coming out of the technical timeout. Dalhausser and Patterson went on a 4-0 run. And after that last trickler, it's 14-12. Make it 12-15. Phil's just got that next gear, what I think all the great players do when you get to that point in the set. At around 15, 16, you shift gears and you close. Tim Hovland always told me, it's not how you start the match, it's how you finish it. 10-15 back in the day when you played to 15, he'd always tell me 10-15. That's where you have to be really good. In the point per play game, it's 15-21.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And yeah, like you said, the greats always have that kind of nose for the moment. And just have a knack for making plays when they matter most. And Phil, as you mentioned, with the statistics about 70+% semifinal appearances, you got to have a pretty good nose for the moment to have those kind of numbers.
Great turn and burn by Casebeer, and now Phil's going to take this one, give a little relief, and that ball drops just a little too much, and Phil ends up hitting it into the net. Don't see that often.
You don't see that often. It's tough for Phil, and it's kind of a testament to how good he is that he doesn't get a lot of reps swinging at the ball because nobody serves him. So moments like that are difficult when you haven't been able to establish any kind of rhythm. That set maybe just a little bit more off than he was expecting.
The way that Casey's hitting, maybe he should have taken that free ball last time. I mean, forget giving him some relief. He's bringing it.
Yeah. And he does a little Mr. Miyagi kata after that.
I like that move. Whenever I talk to Casey, I say, you got to bring it. You got to dance. You got to bring the moves. It's so entertaining. It's so fun, and I think he plays on another level when he does it. That ball into the net. Phil definitely turning up the serve, but we're at a one-point game. 16-15, and this is that part of the set that we're talking about. You got to step up. You got to capitalize on every opportunity that you get.
This is the Dane Blanton, Tim Hovland moment of the game right here.
(17-15). Casey Patterson goes to Casebeer. Casebeer, oh, that ball looked like it might have been out. Overhand dig, and Casebeer's going to get another opportunity.
I think Phil touched the first one.
Yeah.
Had to shovel it back.
There was no doubt in Casebeer's mind on that last swing. He was going to crush that. Second opportunity of the rally, and he left no doubt. Smart play. You know what's impressive right now is Jeremy Casebeer's agility at the net. Not only is he pressing on time, but he's landing, making a move, keeping that ball in play, and then Nice little poke shot by Phil to finish it. But a few times, I like to call it the turn and burn. You're up, you press, you land. Now can you completely do a 180 and pursue that ball? And he's shown he can multiple times already in this match.
You know, very difficult to do and control, but giving his team a couple extra second chances.
There it is, just as you mentioned, Rich. He's got weapons. He's got the ability to score very quickly on his own. And that serve is a testament to that.
Yeah, it's always in the back of your mind, it seems, isn't it? You know, he missed a couple prior to that. And you go, man, he can't keep missing. He's got to tear one off, and there he did it. Unfortunately for Alan Casebeer.
I don't want to jinx him, so I'll say it after. And he did what I was going to say. I would like to see Phil miss long more than in the net, because sometimes he hits the ball with such velocity that you got to make a decision as a receiver, and sometimes that ball's out.
Right.
But when that goes into the net, I don't have to make any decision.
Right. It's like you miss 100% of your putts that you leave short, right? But
right.
You hit it long, maybe it rattles the hole. And we saw Jeremy get that ace right out of the gate in this match, but he's kind of been cold a little bit from the end line the rest of the way here in set one.
Yeah, I did think seeing him come out and hit that first serve that it might become the Casebeer show, and we've seen him turn that up. That's how he won that tournament, I believe in Seattle a few years ago, when he won his one victory on the AVP. He was a serving machine.
Yeah. There was a match against Casey Patterson, in fact, playing with Chase Buttinger at the time. I think he had 10 aces or something.
Oh, jeez. Big hit by Phil. I was mentioning that one victory for Jeremy that came in 2019 with Kane Schalk. So Casebeer trying to get another victory, but it's Phil Dalhausser and Casey Patterson coming out of the box hot, winning 21-18. Alan and Casebeer try to even things up after the break.
The AVP is brought to you by KT Tape, helping athletes of all levels train longer and finish stronger. By Wilson, where the power is with the players. Head over to wilson.com to shop and learn more now. By Waikea Hawaiian Volcanic Water. Live Aloha. Drink Waikea at waikea.com. And by Waste Management. From recycling to renewable energy, we are working hard for a sustainable tomorrow.
Dear Mainland, aloha. My brother and I hear lots of you have discovered a real Hawaiian favorite, Big Wave Golden Ale. That's the good kind of stuff, yeah, bro. Maybe it's the island flavor that makes each sip taste like a little vacation.
Got your beers here.
That's a whole lot of little vacations right there, huh, brother? That's like a big vacation. Retirement. One life, right? Mahalo. Big Wave Golden Ale from Kona Brewing.
Confide and find our rhythm. You and I, the sky, the moon, and the light was just a ride. Share a little love, share a little love. Learn to respect one another. We could find a way to make another day brighter now that we got each other.
Back on center court here, Hermosa Beach Open, the 3rd Pro Series on the AVP 2022 circuit. It is quarterfinal action. Dalhausser Patterson winning set number 1, 21-18 over Billy Allen and Jeremy Casebeer. Dane Blanton alongside Rich Lambord calling the action. Spectacular day. A little cloud cover right now, which the players, I'm sure, like it a little bit. Cool things down. Casey Patterson with the jump serve.
Nice put away on 2 there, Jeremy Casebeer, just switching it up. Yeah, the players don't mind a little cloud cover, a little bit of a breeze.
Typical Southern Cal weather, a little marine layer. You go off the coast about half mile and it's blue skies and perfect. But all this will burn off. It's still early. Miss hit. Little inside set, and we didn't see many errors out of Casey Patterson. Actually was bringing it in that first set. But what do Billy Allen and Jeremy Casebeer have to do in terms of adjustments here in set 2?
Yeah, I think, you know, we talked a lot about Jeremy's serve. Just got to get that thing dialed a little bit more. A couple fewer errors, probably. Just make Casey and Phil play.
Cross body, and Billy Allen has done his scouting. Great dig. Oh, feasting on that ball right there. Casey Patterson.
He lets the crowd know that he's never going to make 2 mistakes in a row.
You could just tell he felt good about the timing of this, and the 1 foot kind of layup and no block, just unleashed.
And the hair is just flowing these days, isn't it?
That's the longest. That's the longest I've ever seen it.
Yeah, it's
used to have a similar cut.
Similar. It didn't look that good. Let's be honest.
In its best days, did it go that long?
No, it didn't go that long. But Casey pulls it off. His wife Lexi, of course, pregnant with their 5th, and I imagine they're going to have some sort of like Viking ritual when their 5th is born with that kind of hair, just on the top of a mountain or a fjord in Norway somewhere.
Definitely a character, Casey Patterson, and here comes Casebeer. He's had his work cut out for him, but wow, does he look good. Kicking out on that left, just a huge offensive arsenal.
Yeah, he's got a right shoulder on him, doesn't he? He brings it not only from the end line, but obviously up at the net as well, and showing some great range offensively there.
Check that out. Casey Patterson, 17 attacks. He's getting just about every serve. Definitely going away from Phil. That's usually the case. Whoever plays with Phil, a lot of pressure. And Rich, we spoke about it yesterday a little bit. Casey Patterson playing with Phil for the first time in New Orleans about 3 weeks ago. He talked to you about it's not as easy as it looks. You're playing with such a great player, but all of a sudden the pressure is all on you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things, you know, like would be similar maybe to marrying like a Giselle and having a kid that's not so attractive. You go, well, clearly that's not her fault. You know what I mean? So Casey felt that added pressure because Phil is so good. Even though Casey's got an unbelievable resume himself, there's just that, you know, when you're playing alongside one of the greats, you feel like you got to bring just a little bit extra.
And I think they complement each other well. And, you know, another thing you said, Casey Patterson, one of the best side-out players of all time, and playing with Phil, that kind of fits perfectly because you know you're going to get every serve.
Right. Yeah, so there's a question for you. We kind of have this philosophy that, you know, you sort of pick your guy to go after at the beginning of a match. You game plan however you game plan. But if a guy gets 3 or 4 in a row, you maybe try the other guy just to, at the very least, throw the guy off his rhythm. You know what I mean? Do you think that philosophy holds true against someone that's so kind of devastating offensively as Phil? Casey's so good, but if you give him every ball and he gets in a rhythm.
I'm a true believer of what you're saying, to make sure that every once in a while you shock the other guy, the other player. Maybe you're going 3 this way, then boom, another one. But because that surprise attack, you want to keep him honest.
Well, yeah, and even if he does something like that, it's given Casey's oven just a second or two to cool down, so to speak, right?
Yeah. Wow, Billy Allen is actually playing for that shot. That's what makes it so good. He still crushes it and bounces it 3 feet away from it.
Yeah, and they say, you know, that there's no pictures on the scorecard. It doesn't say Phil bounced point number 5 into the second row of the stadium. You know, it just
You don't
says
get
point
5 for
number
that?
5. Yeah, you don't, unfortunately. You probably ought to, but you don't.
That'd be pretty cool, the 2-point play.
Yeah. You're just on one side digging pockets, so the next time you go over, you can just hammer one into the crowd.
Oh, we've seen a lot of those this weekend for sure. Here comes Jeremy Casebeer. A little too strong on that one. Can't fault any of the players out here. They're going for it from that back line.
Yeah, that's always kind of a debate, right? I mean, especially when you got a weapon that's so potentially potent as Jeremy Casebeer's serve. Do you just have the never-ending green light, or at some point do you have to kind of pull back on the reins just a little bit? It's a tough one to answer, and I don't know if there's a right answer.
You know, I think the way that Casey's siding out and Phil's siding out, you just got to keep going. You get the ball in, they're siding out so well, miss it here and there. If you're going to manufacture a couple aces, keep going for it. And that's, you know, that's the sweet spot, especially for Casebeer. That's one of his biggest weapons.
And I would have to agree with you for the team of Allen and Casebeer, because Billy's more of a tactical server, so he's going to miss very, very infrequently. And so it kind of balances it out, right? It gives you that room to have that green light. Because if you got two guys just wailing away and then you end up never making your serves, that's not good, of course.
And you got to weigh how good of a blocking team are you and how good of a defensive team are you, and are you taking away from opportunities of scoring from blocking and defense, as Casey Patterson rips a serve and gets yet another ace. So 8-7 here in set number 2, Dalhausser and Patterson.
Yeah, that was kind of a screwball. Little left to right break on it, and it caused just enough miscommunication to get the ace up the middle. Sigh of relief from Billy and Jeremy there as Phil swatted that one just wide.
Yeah, you'll take that anytime you can. Just out of bounds. Phil hanging, throwing that ball back. And here you go, Rich. He's not jump serving this one. He's going to float serve it, get to the net, quickly get positioned, and put his bet on a block. And he almost had it.
Yeah, I like that, though. That's good game management from Allen and Casebeer. Didn't result in a point on that particular play, but I like where their head's at.
It's smart, and we always talk about on the fly, making decisions, game planning right in the middle of a match. And to make those adjustments is huge. Sometimes you have a coach in the box, sometimes you don't. But as a player, you got to recognize where are your strengths and what's working for you on that given day.
Yeah, and that's one of the key things that I think separates kind of the top tier teams from the layer just below them, is that ability to make real-time adjustments. Everyone out here is talented, everyone can play, but who can kind of manage the game and adjust on the fly at the highest level?
(10-9), Patterson, Dalhausser trying to advance into the semifinal. Nice roll shot to the deep corner. Great court awareness by Casebeer.
Great shot, but I would say even a better set for Billy Allen there. Just kind of over his shoulder, had to pirouette kind of, and laid up a gem.
Casebeer going back to the jump serve after taking one turn off with a standing float serve. Let's see if he can get out of system, and no, that ball is long. So we're gonna make it 11-10. Dalhausser and Patterson leading Allen and Casebeer. It's been a high-level match, but it's been very difficult for Casebeer and Allen to score points.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to get too much headway, right? We went into the technical timeout in set one with them at an 11-10 advantage, but quickly thereafter, Phil and Casey came out and made a run. Obviously, Jeremy and Billy would love to be able to do that here, level this matchup, but those serves got to start dropping, I think, for Casebeer and Allen in order for them to get out in front.
The winner of this one plays the Sanders, or I'm sorry, the Taylors.
The Taylors.
The Taylors. Taylor Sander and Taylor Crabb. There you see Tyler Hildebrand on the right side of your screen, coaching Phil Dalhausser and Casey Patterson. Hildebrand, an extensive resume, was not only the assistant at Nebraska a few times, but he was also leading USA Volleyball's beach division for years. Now he is the head coach of the women's program at Long Beach State, and just a spectacular coach. On the other side with Billy Allen and Jeremy Casebeer is John Mayer. Quick look out to court one. This is going on right at the same time. You see Brunner and Schulk winning set number one. It's all tied up. It's almost a mirror image, the score of our match here on center court. So a little quick look out there. That's the number 16 seed closest to you, and that's Dietrich and Hagen Smith, who are still surviving late into Sunday. That match also streaming on AVP YouTube Live, if you want to check that out. Two feeds going on. Oh, Patterson all over that. Too tight. Billy blocked by Phil, and Casebeer and Billy Allen get a little tangled up. He can't make a play on the ball, and it's 12-10.
Yeah, we might want to earmark that one. Now it's a big chance for Billy and Jeremy, I think. Phil just making a play, as we just kind of always expect him to do, don't we?
Allen had that whole right side of the court, but tried to beat him low. It's hard to beat Phil. You kind of got to go to that next level and go over the top if possible.
Yeah, it's interesting how difficult the overpass is to deal with in beach volleyball. Seems like kind of a slam dunk indoor, but out here, I don't know whether you just get sort of paralyzed with so many options or the timing's strange or whatever it is. It just seems like such a difficult play to execute.
Well, nowadays, you know, the blocking is so freed up that sometimes people go up and throw it down. I'm not a huge fan of it, but that's the rule. And it's interesting. You used to always have to hit the ball clean, and Phil yet again stuffing the line of Jeremy Casebeer, and just like that, out of the technical timeout, it's a 4-point lead.
Yeah, that play we've kind of been talking about for the last minute or so was a big one. Billy and Jeremy unable to capitalize on it, and Casey and Phil really using that kind of get out of jail free card that they found there to extend their lead, be in commanding position here in this match.
(14-10) second set. Dalhausser-Patterson won set number one as well, and they are looking to advance to the semifinals, where they will play Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander, who had a spectacular day yesterday. Taylor Sanders' blocking is impressive, as well as his serving, and I think those are two skills that he's brought over from the indoor side that if you can execute at that type of a level, it's dangerous on the beach.
Yeah, absolutely. When that thing's rolling, it's something to behold. You know, it's one of the things I ask you so many questions about game management and serving philosophies and so forth, just to kind of, you know, learn from your knowledge because I kind of have my own ideas about that, and it's something we're trying to implement on our team is kind of what is that threshold between aggressiveness, so to speak, and errors that we're comfortable with.
It's like dialing that perfect number.
Yeah.
Here comes Phil out of the center, middle back line, loves to serve from that area. And a beautiful shot to the corner right there. What's Phil's idea when he lines up in the middle? Because a lot of players will pick a side. Phil, almost 9 out of 10 times, is in the middle of that back line. Is he trying to go middle to middle, shortest distance?
I think oftentimes he does hit that serve. That's his most devastating serve, but he goes to either sideline enough to open up that middle for him. You know what I mean? Which is one of the many things that makes his serve so devastating, is you kind of don't know exactly what to expect. If you play for that middle, you leave yourself vulnerable to the sideline serve, and vice versa, I suppose.
I just recalled receiving a serve from Phil, and it was just like he was hitting at the net at times. Beautiful dig by Casey Patterson. Roll shots right to Billy Allen, but touched by Casebeer. Has to go over. Casebeer's going to get another shot at it. Cross court's open. He decides to go line, gets dug by Patterson. And finally, over on 2 to the corner. Smart shot by Casebeer. What a rally.
Yeah, Casey kind of pointing at himself there, but a couple of those sets, realistically, just a little bit too far off. And Jeremy made some well-timed pulls, digs, and they got that put away for their 12th point.
Well, remember that rally. A rally like that, usually for the winner, doesn't take a lot of steam out of you. But for the loser of the rally, takes a little steam away from you. You can see Phil using the tricks, the tips and tricks, of course, of cleaning the glasses, taking a little time, taking a little deep breath, kind of recover. That was the longest rally of the match so far. It's important that they recover right here. But can Casebeer and Allen use that as momentum?
Yeah, this is a big point for them.
That one into the bottom of the net, unfortunately, for Casebeer. Might have rushed it after that long rally.
Yeah, that's, you know, I think with the top teams and the top players, they almost have this added advantage in that mentally, yeah, there we go. And that one ace was the opening serve of this match.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough ratio right there. 1 ace to 8 errors, and that's where you have that game management that you're talking about. You got to know when to kind of slow it down, and there's another ace for Big Phil.
Yeah, so kind of what I was getting to is that with guys like Phil, you know, I remember when we played Brazil, for example, indoors, you had this feeling like you had to do everything perfectly in order to beat them. And so you start pressing in moments, you start trying to play outside of yourself, and then really what you're doing is beating yourself along with their unbelievable play, and then Phil does that and just adds to it.
That's what I think, that middle, and that's why I asked you. In the middle, I think he dupes you into, hey, I'm going middle, I'm doing the split down the middle, and then boom, he goes to the right sideline or the left sideline, as he did just there, completely catching Casebeer off guard.
Absolutely.
This side.
Phil touched that ball, had to go over. Soft block, and look at the set. Perfect set by Phil, and Patterson knows he missed a huge opportunity. Wish he could have that one back.
Yeah, Casey, beside himself, just he wanted to pay that off so badly. Tried to get a little bit cute, maybe. Got the great touch, like you said, perfect set. Casey tried to do the little teardrop and left it just a touch short.
13 serving 18. Patterson takes it out of the middle. Poke shot touch, has to go. Casebeer gets it to the sand, 14-18. It's going to be pressure time right now. Billy Allen, Jeremy Casebeer have to somehow create, manufacture, whatever you want to call it. They need points.
Absolutely. And, you know, Phil and Casey obviously sort of comfortably in the lead here, but just philosophically, I think those kind of plays where you make a team go 2 and 3 times to get their side out, those are just soul crushing, right? They feel like, God, what can we do to get past these guys? It takes so much effort just to get a sort of a mundane side out.
And that goes back to what you were saying. When you're playing someone who's as good as Phil, you put a lot of pressure on yourself to do well, because you know they're not going to give up many points, and that puts you in a different state of mind.
Yeah,
and
it
when
really
you have
does.
to really work for every side out. That's the thing. Like, even if a team sides out, but they have to do 3 swings to do it, I think you've won a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, they may have won the point, but you've won by making them earn it so much, whereas on your side, you're just 1, 2, 3. First ball side out. Big training to get into that type of a mind frame.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of defensively, we have that mentality a lot too. Like, if I can touch balls, even if I don't dig them, that's going to start weighing psychologically on the guy that, oh, he touched that last one, I need to try and chop off a little more, and then that's when you can kind of induce some errors at times.
2015, we are at match point. Phil and Casey have been in control this entire match. 5 aces for Phil and Casey, just 3 errors. Look at Allen and Casebeer. 1 ace, 10 errors. You can't say they didn't put it on the line and roll the dice, but didn't come up for them here as we're looking at first match point for Phil and Casey. And that ball into the top of the tape, and that will wrap things up. 21-18, 21-15. And wow, great bounce back by Phil and Casey after losing yesterday to Lotman and Partain.
Yeah, they looked good here. They were really, Phil was imposing his will. Casey was siding out great, playing some good defense behind Phil. And as we saw in those serving numbers, I mean, 5 aces to 3 errors, you very rarely see the ace number outweigh the error number, and that's just a devastating combo.
So Phil and Casey will move on to the semifinal, where they will face Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander. And talk a little bit about Phil, a little highlight package that is definitely going to feature Big Phil, who has played so well. He is going for 3 for 3 for 2022. He won in Austin with Andy Benish, then switched it up, playing with Casey Patterson, won in New Orleans, and now the 3rd Pro Series event of the 2022 season, and Phil is still in the hunt.
Absolutely, yeah, and we'll get a rematch of the New Orleans final coming up in the semi here in about 2 hours' time between the Taylors and Phil and Casey, and it should be an exciting one. I know which side I'm going to be on.
Little secret. Rich Lamborn, the coach of Crabb and Sander. So he'll be on the sand trying to implement a lot of the analysis that you've given us here. So we'll be looking forward to seeing that as we take a look at the bracket. There you see it. Taylor Crabb, Taylor Sander taking on number 3, Dalhausser and Patterson, victorious just now. And then on the bottom, it's Theo Brunner and Kane Schulk, the number 2 seed, taking on Lotman and Partain. A lot of action coming up here on Championship Sunday. Next up, the women take over. We're going to have to adjust the nets. Number 1 seeded Therese Cannon and Sarah Sponsel versus number 3, Sarah Hughes and Kelly Kalinsky.
you, my friend.